Hello viewers, Super GT here. We have some good news in Forza Motorsport. So a couple of hoppers have now been added. We now have C-Class and R-Class. We're going to give C-Class a go here. So of course C-Class standing for Chaos, Carnage, and it's full of absolute chickens. Let's get on with this, shall we? We find ourselves here then at Hockenheim. I'm driving the Subaru BRZ. Now my initial plan, as soon as I saw C-Class, I was going to go for the Toyota GT86, but obviously Toyota aren't in the game, or the production cars aren't in the game, so I've gone for basically the equivalent car, the Subaru BRZ. First corner at Hockenheim. This guy is okay, taking an unusual line, but no worries, we're through. Only 7 of us in this race, but that's not to matter because it's going to be a good one, I hope. Now into turn 2, just checking behind. It's actually going to put me right off going through that second corner. Didn't take a good line, so more worried about whether or not I'm going to get murdered. I'll get through okay. So the top 4 just up ahead. I'm going to try to pull onto the back of them. And actually we're going down to the full configuration here, so a full 3 laps. In fact, it's really weird because a lot of the S-Class races have a lot shorter races than this. I mean, a 3-lap race around Hockenheim, you probably wouldn't even get that in S-Class. Anyway, through the hairpin, and we're cleanly through, still remaining in 5th place. Just testing out the Subaru here. Haven't really acclimatized myself to this slower class of racing. I mean, most of the racing I do in this game is normally A class or above, but it is actually very nice to go down into C class, or the lower classes at least, to give them a go. So this guy up ahead going to get a poor exit in the Volvo, so I'm going to get a nice run as we come back towards the stadium section. Last sector at Hockenheim. So you can see they're turning way too early, but that is largely down to trying to get used to the car still. So not quite adapting quickly enough, and again, just taking the biggest cut I've ever taken in my life across there. It's actually not giving me much speed there because you see the guy in 5th there just on my back. Now they're basically going to kind of implode here. It was going along very nicely until that guy went into the back of this guy in the Porsche. Volvo looking up the inside, give him space, a bit of contact, but we're going to keep 3rd place. Now that's the kind of thing I like about C-Class, is the contact. Well, I mean, I don't like contact, but I like the fact that because the racing is slower, you can kind of get away with contact. A bit of rubbing, like what we just had there for the final corner. It's okay. You can ride that kind of contact and continue racing, so it's not too bad. Into turn number 2, got the inside line, just kept him on the outside, and then going to get the power down as we round turn 3 onto the straight, which isn't straight of course, a very long winding straight, obviously flat out though. So just going to try to work out our braking point. This is a really crucial braking point on the whole track, probably the best overtaking point on the circuit. I'm going to look for the curb on the left hand side, there it is, brake at the beginning of it. Let's see how that goes. I actually let off the brake halfway through. That Honda S2000 almost in the back of me, really close to absolute disaster. But he goes down, I think he went a little bit too deep into that corner, trying to go past the Porsche. But he goes back down to 4th, Porsche still remains in 3rd, and I live to fight another day. Catching up with the leader now, so the race is set up quite nicely, getting through the initial pack. Then the leader got quite a bit of a gap there. At the end of lap 1, of course, we had that contact, and then that opened up his gap basically. But you can see here we've definitely gained throughout lap 2, and we still have all of lap 3, of course, to do even more damage. Let's see if we can go about getting right onto his tail, put him under some pressure, and he might make a couple of mistakes. So the cars I'm seeing a lot in this hopper so far, a lot of Japanese cars. They tend to do quite well, and also a lot of American muscle cars, especially the older ones, like cars from the 60s, 70s. So I'm often seeing a lot of those cars, with the occasional sort of Lotus, that kind of car. So those are the kinds of vehicles you can expect to see in this. As we go around the outside, well, he came to the apex and he just kind of gave me a lot of room. I mean, I was expecting him fully to come across, but he just didn't, and it just left me a really easy overtake around the outside. Don't really see that very often at Hockenheim. But yeah, fair enough. I'm up into the lead, and from there on in it's going to be a fairly simple race, because we're going to finish the race here. And prepare yourself for the best victory dance ever. So I find myself in the capital wasteland after all of that, and well, the scenes of devastation after that victory dance are all too real to see here. But oh shit, sorry, that was the wrong game. Anyway, we go back to Rio. So the world has kind of reformed itself after the nuclear holocaust following that victory dance. So I find myself here in Rio de Janeiro, going straight on into a tyre wall with DK Hahn, the Drift King there, going flying into the side of me, and plenty more contact as we exit the hairpin. This is a configuration I haven't done too much. In fact, I did it in Mario Kart the other way around, I think. So that is the reason why I got caught out. Obviously didn't check what configuration we were doing. Let's see how this Mitsubishi GTO handles this little handling circuit. I actually tuned it myself. Let's see how it goes. I'm normally not the best at tuning these slower cars. VW Golf in the way. Tried to go around the outside, and he just reversed that way. Okay, fair enough. No worries there really. I guess he had to turn one way or the other, and I just went 50-50, went the wrong way. Into the hairpin then, 10 laps. It's a fairly lengthy race. We'll see if it is. These two guys getting tangled with each other, and again, as you can see here, a couple of classic American cars up against a couple of Japanese JDM cars, if you like. Although I don't know if this is technically JDM, but it is a J. It's J at least. More contact up ahead, and we have a couple of European cars now to battle with. The Alfa very wide against the Volvo. Not going to stand a chance against this little beast. I say little, I mean actually bloody massive. Just look at the length of that. More like an aircraft carrier. Into the hairpin, first corner. Taking a nice inside line up into third place, and we're going to try to hunt down second. I believe he is in a Renault Clio, maybe even first place. Let's see. Honda S2000 up in the lead. So Honda S2000 is always a good B-class car from what I remember on Forza Motorsport 6. So let's see if it translates to C-class in Forza 7. It seems to be working for him so far. Into the final corner. See that proximity arrow, but it's not going to be enough for a move. Nice little drift towards the wall on the exit of final turn. We're going to skip to lap 9. This is where things got slightly more interesting. It did take me a while to catch up with this guy. Here he is in the Renault Clio. Just bumped the wall on the inside. Just literally smashed the apex. And on the exit, you see there he's got far better acceleration. He's going to pull away into the next left-hander. He's going to go very narrow, and I'm actually going to go very wide, like too wide if anything. Going to get a good run on the exit, although I was going to until that kind of spun me round. Into the final corner. Going to try to undercut him. He's got two wheels up on the curb there. I've actually got a very nice exit. Into the first corner. This is going to be very interesting. He's got the inside line. He should be able to marshal me wide. But going in, he kind of just has a mind lapse and just completely forgets to brake. Now that is slightly embarrassing, I must say. We were squaring up for a nice little battle there, and he just completely forgets. Completely forgets that there's a sharp hairpin in the way, and just goes straight on into the wall. And that's his race over, pretty much. So I'm going to come around lap 10 into second place. Not bad. The guy in the lead, Honda S2000, he got a decent lead early on and never really saw it come down at all. So a decent win for him, and come through to second. No worries at all there. I'm going to give another try to a different Japanese car. Here we go then, with a wide body. Why the hell not? Mazda RX-7 into the first corner, VIR. Not often a clean corner. Not often a clean corner, this one. But there we go. Maybe we can start calling C-Class clean class. Is that even possible? Is that even remotely possible on Forza Motorsport to have a clean race? Honda S2000 just goes way off. I must say though, the field spread was a lot smaller on this class, so people were remaining a lot closer to each other, which is, to me, that's often a barometer of a good race. If people are like nose to tail on each other in a race without crashing into each other, that often tells you that the race is quite close, quite good. when you get to P class, you get a field spread of about 9 million light years after the first corner, where half the grid gets murdered, annihilated, and sent to space. Like they get hit that hard, and then the race just opens up immediately, and then you might encounter someone once every 10 laps. But here, the racing was a lot closer, so I was enjoying that, and I think that is often the case with these slower classes. I think people can just control the cars a lot better, and be a bit more mindful of not hitting each other. And talking about car control, there's me just sliding way wide. The frustrating thing with VIR, the grass just goes on for miles. If you go off, you're just absolutely going to get yourself messed up. And I did here. I did manage to catch back up with this guy. So the battle for second is going to rage on lap number 2. So I like this corner here, over the crest. We've got a bit of a slide on, although not going to lose too much time. Nice little complex here. This is actually quite a cool little configuration. I quite like this one. Although the VIR does come up too often. You see there, he went wide. I easily got past and then claimed second place. It was a shame because you see there I got the fastest lap. It would have been a good race, I think, with the Super B. A couple of very easy races followed. Circuit of the Americas, easy win. Now going into Catalonia, unchallenged almost into the first corner, didn't get killed, probably the first time in my life, and that turned out to be another very easy win across the line there. And this brings us to the final race. I'm going to go back to the Subaru for this one. Pole position. I had enough of just kind of running away like I did at Cota and Catalonia, so I'm going to take the grass line here, which is actually, as it turns out, a bit slower than the tarmac. I never really knew that. So there we go. Get back onto the track in 9th out of 9. So that guy just absolutely brutally punting the guy in front of him off. No real reason at all. You don't really need one on this game. So this guy's going to rejoin. How is that one going to pan out? He's just going to there we go. Super GC effect. Thank you very much. So the next two guys to try to get past. Subaru's just going to punt the back of the Alpha very wide. How's this one going to pan out? There we go. Super GT effect once again. So two pairs of people just wiping each other out and just handing me easy positions up into third place. So from 9th up into third, again 6, and we have, it's a 3-lap race, so a fairly lengthy one here. So we have to do our best to try to catch up with these two who have got away. Let's see how we can go about doing that. Degner 2 then. Degner 1 and 2, great corners. I mean, it's a great track. Suzuka is a brilliant track. Absolutely love racing around here. Whenever it comes up, I'm always happy to vote for it. The problem, though, we do have, I think, in this game, the voting system is off. It's broken. Well, not broken. They've obviously designed it that way, but I think VIR does come up way too often. I do like the track, but also I think sometimes you get the night races a bit too often and the rain a bit too often. I think it's almost like you have 3 votes. One is a random race, one is a day race, and one is a night or a rain race. So you only got really one choice for a dry, simple race, where I think you often have the best experiences. I think the best races are just in the dry. It might sound boring, but I think that is the case. In the rain, it's just a nightmare. It's just a chore sometimes to drive in the rain. It can be fun, but normally it's just carnage. It's just pure death, basically. But that's just my thoughts. Obviously, let me know your thoughts. Perhaps you do like driving in the rain more than I do. Into the final corner then, or the final couple of corners, the chicane here at the end of the lap at Suzuka. So I'm going to take a nice line through there, getting a decent exit. Now we're definitely caught up, but this is not going to be an easy race. It's not going to be one where I can just simply glide past them and just run away with it. So you can see here, so after lap 1, the guy in first place, I wouldn't really say I've gained too much on him, but we do have 2 laps remaining. It could change, and he did seem to have very good straight line speed there, which could bode well through the corners here, because if you have good straight line speed, it's unlikely you can have also really good handling. You can't normally have both. So into the S's. So of course the S's here test really good, well, you need really good medium speed cornering ability through here, and change of direction of course. And it looks like the leader doesn't quite have that. We've gained through that section definitely. He had a couple of 100 feet Now he's got less than 100 or less than 200 at least. So we're definitely gaining. You can see just how much closer he is. So looking past the Nissan, looking at the inside, he's got a bit wide, and I took a wider entry into that corner, and I've got him on the exit. So that was a good overtake actually, really just capitalising in on his inability to turn in at the correct time. And that is important. Around that corner I take a wide entry, and the Dunlop corner that is, and it gives you a better run on the exit just before the dead in the corners. Into the hairpin, so we're definitely right on the tail of the leader now, but this is from here to the end of the lap. Is going to be his strength, because he's clearly got the straight line speed. We've got a straight section here. It's not straight, but it's full throttle up towards Spoon Corner. Then of course after Spoon Corner we've got another straight section. So into Spoon, get the power back on, back out to the right hand side, then back to the left. Let the throttle go off a little bit, and then just wait until you can spot the exit curve. There it is. Then back on the throttle nicely. So I've got a good exit there. Really good through Spoon curve, and because I'm right in his slipstream, pretty much right on him, he's not actually going to pull away too much. So I'm actually negating his straight line speed advantage here just by simply being right on him. He goes in for a very nice apex. Bit of cut, but you know, not too bad. Yeah, actually, perhaps a little bit too early, because I'm going to get a run on the exit, and then into the chicane, right on my tail. But again, we do have a very long straight coming up. We've just seen how good he is in a straight line before spoon curve at least. So this is going to be quite an interesting part here. Now I'd always opt just to go fully defensive and make it really hard for him, because we've only got one lap left. So I'm just going to move to the right hand side. I want him to go left, and he does. There we go. So he's going to have to go around the outside, and I'm in a handling car, he isn't. So it's going to be really hard for him to do that. But to be fair to him, he's done a really good job there to get, you know, his nose alongside, and now he's got the speed. Going into the S's, this is really good racing. He has done very well to do that. Around the outside, and just going to slot in ahead. There we go. So he did well there. Fair play to him for going around the outside at turn 1 and 2 and just getting the nose alongside. I couldn't turn across him because he was there, and it ended with us having to go side by side for a couple of the S's. Eventually just about managed to get ahead. But now we kind of just have to make the most of this section here before we get to the straight lines once again. You can see there through the Dunlop curve, definitely a strength of this car. Seems to be very planted through this section, through the longer corners. And then on the straight lines, not too bad. Obviously you will get beaten by some of these other cars. But I think this car, the Subaru BRZ, seems to be a very good overall car. Which is why initially, as soon as I saw C-Class, I wanted the GT86. As I mentioned, it's not in the game. BRZ is almost the same car. Pretty much is exactly the same car. So not too dissimilar at all. It turns out that is a very strong car for this class. Other strong cars, Honda S2000 seems to be good. The Mazda RX-7 that I used in a couple of races. I think I got 3 out of 3 wins in that car. That was a very good car. Well, that worked. Actually, no, I didn't get 3 out of 3. Obviously, VIR, I didn't finish in first. But I did get a couple of victories. That is also a good car. And then I did encounter a Lotus Elise, or it might have been an Exige. But the Lotuses, often very good cars, good handling. But returning to the race here, you can see here I am just pulling away from the 2 chasers into 130R, taking a nice apex. The car's just so easy to control, perfectly through there. Looking for the entry to that, I don't even know what that is. It's like a pit lane entry on the right hand side. I just brake at the beginning of that. Quite a difficult braking zone actually though. There's no real markers on the left hand side as you go in, so it can be a tricky one to get right, that chicane. But here we go then, it's going to be another victory. So C-Class Hopper is good, really good that it's back, and hopefully they get a bit more populated as the days go on, so hopefully more people will see that it's there, and we'll get some more full lobbies and some more videos for you. But that is the end of this one, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. I do hope you enjoyed that dank victory dance, as always. Do let me know your thoughts on the video, and let me know your best cars in C-Class, your favourite ones. I want to know. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching, as always. I shall see you next time. Goodbye.